Okay. Somewhere it should be letting me do this. Well, let's see what happens, huh? There we go. Great. Well, welcome to TRAD News. Here's everything you need to know, delivered like an AM radio via Livestream, as God intended. Callers, sound off in the comments and I'll do my best to respond in real time and tell you why you're wrong. First up, ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing an extraordinary showdown in Washington. President Donald has declared he's firing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. But Cook is not backing down. She's standing firm, saying Trump doesn't have the legal authority to remove her from office. The allegations, let's get to the facts. This entire controversy spins from unverified, mind you, allegations of mortgage fraud against Lisa Cook. According to Trump, Cook allegedly claimed 2 separate homes as her primary residence, supposedly to secure favorable mortgage terms. These claims were amplified by Bill Pult, an agency head connected to Trump, who even posted what he called signatures from Cook on various documents. No formal charges have been filed. Yes, it's serious. And to accuse a Federal Reserve governor of mortgage fraud, this is a real thing. But as of this moment, Cook vigorously denies wrongdoing and stresses that Trump's actions violate the law. Now let's break that down. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 gives the president power to remove a governor for cause, but what counts as cause is ambiguous. And like everything else in this era, they are stretching the limits of what that means. And most experts say it refers to misconduct during official tenure, not prior acts. And Cook was appointed by Biden in 2022 for a term ending all the way in 2038. So she's supposed to be there for a while. And this makes history as the first time this has ever been done, and with the first African-American woman, surprise, on the Fed's boards. Traditionally, the independence of the Fed is a sacrosanct principle. Presidents do not meddle in its personnel for political gain. Trump's move is unprecedented. The first direct attempt to fire a Fed governor since the central bank was created. Democrat leaders, they're outraged. They're labeling actions as illegal and as blatant political interference with the Fed. Senator Elizabeth Warren called it authoritarian power that must be overturned by the courts. Cook and her attorney plan to file suit to block her removal. Legalists, these analysts, they predict the Supreme Court will eventually weigh in, and they note that if the president prevails, it would undermine the Fed independence and set a dangerous precedent. But why is this fight so important? If Cook is ousted and replaced by Trump, he'd gain a decisive majority on the Fed's board. Basically, Trump has pushed for lower interest rates to spur economic growth, sometimes through vocal public pressure on Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Removing Cook gives Trump a chance to stack the board with loyalists who want aggressive rate cuts. Financial markets are reacting. After Trump's announcement, the dollar fell, gold prices rose, and the Treasury yields dipped. All signs of Wall Street fearing chaos at the nation's central bank. Progressive truths. What do we got here? I would say objectively, the facts show that this is much more than a personal spat. It's a test of the rule of law, the independence of America's central bank, and whether presidents can wield unchecked power over monetary policy. Cook's defense isn't just about her job. It's about safeguarding the integrity of the Fed for every American. That's the truth. The courts, they're going to decide. But the stakes for our economy and our democracy couldn't be higher. So, folks, if you're joining late, welcome to TRAD News. It's everything you need to know. Delivered like an AM radio show via live stream, as God intended. And so callers, sound off in the comments. I'm going to do my best to respond in real time and tell you why you're all wrong. So folks, our next story As what do we got? Well, we got a culture clash, sizzling hotter than cornbread on a cast iron skillet. Yeah, it's not the breaking news of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's engagement. No, it's Cracker Barrel. Yes, that American institution of chicken fried nostalgia is in the crosshairs, and the shooter is none other than Donnie. The president hit Truth Social blast Cracker Barrel's leadership, demanding they admit that their latest rebrand was a quote, total loser. Let's break down the facts, unvarnished and honest. I'll say, I like the old logo. It's an old-timey place. Give me that old-timey man. I'm looking for mediocre mashed potatoes. It's a good spot. It delivers off the highway. I do not need a new sign. I want to know that old sign's right there for me. But should this get to the desk of the Oval Office? Probably not. So what is it all about? If you didn't see the rebrand, it looks like everything else that capitalism has provided in recent memory. It's boring. Cracker Barrel is known for its country kitsch. Its Uncle Herschel logo is what it's actually called. Rolled out the rebrand that stripped away much of the Americana, and now it's just very minimalist. So there's no more vintage sign, no quirky old barrel. It's just the shiplap and whitewash decor. All decisions spearheaded by the new CEO, who's been accused by critics, including the president, of going woke and losing touch with the restaurant's roots. I don't know if it's going woke as much as it's just not having good taste, but he is the CEO of a place without a lot of great taste. So, this kind of goes beyond politic and just says, do you have design skills? So, they made it in Canva. It is what it is. The logo is, let's break down the numbers. It didn't just upset longtime customers. It reportedly helped tank the company's stock and sparked a publicity crisis. That's right, when companies abandon its signature, like, I don't know, the roof of a Pizza Hut, those who built the culture often feel left behind. Trump never once minced words. He offered up what he called a business rescue plan. He urged Cracker Barrel to go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response, the ultimate poll, and manage the company better than ever before. Trump's message was clear. Listen to customers, not just corporate boardrooms, He even advised using the backlash as $1 billion worth of free publicity. Yes, if played right, he warned the turnaround would be very tricky, but this is a good thing, He's always trying to redefine his own success, let's say. There's a lot of bravado there tied to the heartbeat of public opinion. So how did Cracker Barrel respond? Well, with a non-apology, really. A statement sticking to the new signage and emphasizes we spent too much money and time on this. We got to ride this to the grave. No, they said, quote, the values this company was built on will never change. That sounds like America to me. They doubled down on their focus, generous portions, country hospitality, and future-proofing the brand for new generations. Heritage, they claimed, remains at the heart of their mission, but critics say the heart isn't beating like it used to. So dig deeper and you'll find unhappy investors. Sardar Biglari, I'm just going to call him Big Larry here, a major shareholder, openly called the CEO's branding overhaul obvious folly. Yes, Big Larry said Cracker Barrel is not a broken brand, but it has a broken board. That's a truth we shouldn't ignore. Progress means balancing tradition and innovation, but ignoring your roots and your customers can hurt a business, even a beloved one like the Cracker Barrel. And this isn't just about a logo, it's about tensions between corporate boards, modernization, Q1 always having to be better than Q2 over Q3, which is impossible for every company, right? It shouldn't be so dog-eat-dog. You should just be able to serve the same stale biscuits and get your profit and preserve your cultural heritage. And maybe the Epstein files are written in crayon on the back of one of those menus. I mean, I don't know why people seem to care so much about this. But the facts show customer voices matter just as much as boardroom ideas. Businesses should adapt for the future, yes, but only with honesty and respect for what's made them great. So if Cracker Barrel finds its way back to its roots, it's a win for customers, workers, shareholders, busboys, poets. That's the truth. And It's people-centered and built to last. All right. Thanks for coming to Trad News, Hannah. That lot. Good seeing ya. We got science up next. Listen up. Today, we're finally cutting through the fog that's shrouded the Bermuda Triangle for decades. The latest headline is that science has solved the riddle behind the disappearances. Forget aliens, time warps. I mean, the aliens are out there, but they're not messing with this triangle. The sea monsters, too. This is about actual verifiable facts and what science can teach us about a myth that's lingered longer than most folk legends. First, let's recall why we care. The Bermuda Triangle, stretching from Miami to Bermuda to Puerto Rico, is famed for mysterious vanishings of ships and planes and buried treasure for Jack Sparrow. The stories are chilling. Some more than 50 vessels and 20 aircrafts have been lost over the centuries there. Some even say Christopher Columbus experienced bizarre phenomena there until he found India. Over the years, the Triangle has fueled countless conspiracy theories about abductions, lost cities, and the wildest magnetic vortexes you can imagine. But today, I gotta say, I don't know what these co-hosts are, because this is my first time ever doing live, but I'm just gonna say, come on through. I don't know what's going on. How's this looking? Oh, I can hear you. Welcome. You're from Bermuda?
I'm from America.
Oh, you're from America. Have you ever been to Bermuda? Have you ever been to Bermuda? Do you know anything about the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah,
What do you know?
I know it.
Okay, you know it. Yeah, it's a kind of wild place. Well, thanks for coming. I'm going to keep trying to read off my script here, but you can stay and hang as long as you want. Cheers.
I've never seen any video like this in your place.
Okay. So, the big reveal is that rogue waves and human fallibility is to blame. Dr. Simon Boxall. Oh, how do I get rid of this? I don't know what's going on. Yeah. I am such a Luddite here, guys. This is why it's made for FM radio.
Hi, Sadie.
Okay. Well, this is going off the rails. Let me see what we can do now. I don't know why I want to be here, but you know, what's going on? What is this? Who's that?
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so good day.
Can we go in a day?
Well, this has been really interesting, guys. I've been trying to do this on TikTok, and now we're gonna go live again. I never ever want to do that again. That was wild stuff. Okay, I hope it was interesting for everybody else on the other lines. This is trying to do too many things at once, which is the millennial way, and let's do it again. Okay. If you were still learning about the Bermuda Triangle, let's talk about the real culprits. It's basically, if you're with me here, it's Trad News here. We're talking about the Bermuda Triangle now. Big reveal. Rogue waves, human fallibility. Dr. Simon Boxall, a leading oceanographer, pinpoints violent, unpredictable waves up to 100 feet high, capable of breaking massive ships in half. So that might do it. And so when storms converge from multiple directions, rolling seas in the triangle can reach terrifying heights, sinking even naval giants like the USS Cyclops. That's right, the Scott Summers goes down in the summer, and on top of that, the region's weather systems are especially active, and the Gulf Stream produces abrupt, treacherous changes in conditions. This all means that shipwrecks, lost planes, and disappeared crews just are natural hazards of one of the world's busiest and most complex nautical corridors. That is not what you're going to find in the Wisconsin Dells. So dig deeper and you'll find more truths are grounded in science. The triangle's magnetic anomalies can confuse compasses, causing pilots or captains to misjudge their routes. But here's the kicker. Actual data shows the mystery is just statistics. Carl Kozrzewski, An Australian scientist says NAR, the Bermuda Triangle disappearance rate, matches that of any high traffic segment of ocean. It's high volume, risky navigation, powerful storms combining for occasional tragedies. So the real story is not supernatural, it's statistical probability, it's environmental realism, and sometimes human error under stress. So I would not go there on your first ride. And as we echo the real experts, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and Lloyd's of London have long noted that Bermuda Triangle poses no greater danger than other major marine travel lanes. It has given some excitable imaginations that have built the legend, but the facts say otherwise. So, cutting-edge monitoring, safety protocols further reduce the risk for everyone crossing these waters today. So, what do we really know? Bermuda Triangle isn't an unsolvable mystery. It's a case study in letting science defeat superstitions. Real dangers stem from nature's fury and occasional human mistakes. Not magic, not monsters, not government cover-ups. As technology advances and understanding grows, humanity wins. So that, folks, is how truth-based thinking serve society, right? When we use facts and numbers and value them for once. It's a wild idea, but it shines a light on reason to the deepest, darkest myths we have, our misunderstandings. And we all know the real reason is chemtrails. On to the Middle West conflict. We've got a high-stakes political rumble brewing in American cities. President Donnie has threatened to deploy the National Guard in Chicago, just like he did earlier in D.C. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and city officials are pushing back hard, calling Trump's move unconstitutional, unnecessary, and outright un-American. Let's look at the cold hard facts. Crime rates in Chicago, a city often unfairly used as a political football, are actually on the decline. Homicides in the Windy City have dropped over 32% since last year and are still dropping, and thefts are seeing double-digit improvements. D.C. also saw crime fall before the military intervention. So Pritzker, joined by Mayor Brandon Johnson and other officials in Chicago, said there is no emergency, right? That justifies armed troops. There is no insurrection, no reason to turn neighborhoods into conflict zones. The governor points out, quote, if this was happening in another country, we'd call it a dangerous power grab. From Washington, not what's happening in Chicago, unquote. That objective, data-driven reporting is that the national conversation needs to be based on where the actual problems are. And in fact, there's a lot of red states, and there's a lot of places. Interesting. I'm getting all these co-hosts now. I guess I'm getting popular right now on one of these. But please sound off in the other spaces. I'm here for you when I'm looking straight here. But anyway, legal situation is tense. Typically the National Guard answers to the governor unless federalized for very specific reasons. Rebellion, insurrection, big words not to be taken lightly. Experts, including Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul, says these criteria simply don't exist right now. Deploying troops for routine crime control isn't just unprecedented, it's legally questionable and could end up being blocked in court. Even U.S. senators and military veterans like Tammy Duckworth are chiming in, calling Donald's move a threat to democracy and national security. Quote, this is just another unjustified, unwanted, inappropriate action, straight from the authoritarian's handbook, end quote. I'm hearing sirens. I don't know if you can either. Maybe it's because I'm talking about this. Anyway, the president isn't hiding his intentions. He's eyeing Chicago and other blue cities for law and order, quote, crackdowns, right? Special inconvenience unit, claiming local leaders are incompetent, corrupt, and unable to govern. But progressive critics say the real story is manufactured crisis, an effort to intimidate political opponents, score points with his base. And Pritzker accuses Donald of defunding the police by cutting federal support and public safety and violence prevention. This is all a distraction. Oh, that's good. Calling that defunding is wild. It's a position backed by grants data and funding figures. So, fact, sending combat trained troops into city streets is fraught with risk and escalates tensions. The National Guard members are not law enforcement. They're trained for combat, not community policing, not de escalation. Governors and city leaders know this well, warning that troops in the streets could escalate tensions and, again, put both residents and soldiers in harm's way. I think about universal positives, right? Nobody wants that. So, what's the real story behind the headlines and the feud? It's not about chaos, it's about checks and balances. It's constitutional safeguards. It's the future of our republic. So when power is abused, people push back. America's traditions demand accountability, especially when it comes to the military's role in civil life. If truth and numbers mean anything, it means defending those rights. And if you really believe power belongs in the states, then where does this guy get off trying to impose these sweeps that no one's asking for, right? You can't have it both ways. But silly city dwellers, they're going to have to show a lot more pride in their town than just rooting for their sports team. Though Pritzker looks like he'd be a pretty good fullback. Okay, this has been TRAD News, guys. I'm offering you everything you need to know in an AM radio style for the live streaming audience, just like God intended. So now buckle up. It's the song of the summer across America. It's been Get What I Want by Gerrymandering. Yes, every damn state is in a race to the bottom to counter blatant partisan redistricting. This redrawing that started in Texas in an off-year attempt to choose their voters. So now buckle up for a major shakeup in Utah politics, where a nonpartisan judge just ruled that Utah's Republican-led legislature must redraw the state's congressional maps ahead of the next 2026 elections. It's big news. It's something from before all this hullabaloo that sends a clear message about gerrymandering and democracy. It's not just local politics. It's a nationwide wake-up call on the power of voters and the limits of partisan maps. District Court Judge Diana Gibson's ruling in Utah is pretty definitive. She declared the current district maps are unlawful because the legislature ignored independent redistricting commissions that were created by voters through a 2018 ballot initiative aimed at preventing this very thing, the partisan style of gerrymandering. You pack people in, you crack things up that don't need to be there, you make them into crazy little lines that don't make any sense. The legislature repealed much of that commission's authority, though, and drew its own map in 2021, slicing up Salt Lake County, Utah's populations, with a few little Democratic strongholds. This is the reddest state, folks, and now it's into 4 GOP-friendly districts. Judge Gibson rejected that map, stating lawmakers had, quote, disregarded the people's exercise of their constitutional lawmaking authority. Judge offered new maps by September 24th of this year. They need new maps to give candidates clarity before filing begins for the 2026 elections. So, this Utah ruling hits at the heart of this national struggle, with Republicans holding a narrow House majority. Every new district matters, and they don't feel like they got it in the bag, folks, or they wouldn't be trying to change the whole field of the game. States like Texas are proposing maps favoring GOP gangs, while California and others have to push back and reform on their own, while being one of the most bipartisan district, checks and balances. So Utah's decision could influence this battleground dynamic, making once safe districts more competitive. Voting rights advocates call this a pivotal moment, insisting that legislatures are not supreme. They must respect voter-approved laws. We all should be able to choose who we vote for. The politicians should not choose their voters, right? So, Republican leaders in Utah have expressed disappointment, decrying the ruling as a judicial activism, and are expected to appeal. The state Supreme Court may hesitate to hear the case, but the legal battle isn't over. Meanwhile, the legislator is attempting to weaken reform efforts by repealing portions of the original initiative that shine a light on ongoing efforts to sideline voter power nationwide. The judge underscored that district drawing influences the right to vote, equal protection, and respect for the rule of law. So this isn't just political game playing. This is about the foundation of our republic. You catch the themes here. Truth-based analysis tells us this fight is fundamental to voter equity and fair representation. Gerrymandering dilutes the voice of communities and entrenches power for incumbents. So Utah's case illustrates how voters can push back through ballot initiatives, but also how legislatures may undermine those efforts unless courts intervene. The ruling reinstates hope that fair maps reflecting genuine voter will, not partisan agendas, will shape future elections. And that is the foundation of democratic republics and accountability, folks, okay? So, that's been the TRAD news of today. I hope this helped you amidst your doom scrolling. Until next time, I'm Josh Burstein. Keep living the dream and fighting the nightmare. Godspeed. And, oh, why not? Let's see if you want to be here.